Hey guys, DJ Guildmaster from Wargaming. This video, we're going to be talking about my DAK, my North African Army's performance at Operation Typhoon, Maryland's state championship heavy metal. Hey guys, DJ Heavy Metal Wargaming. In this video, we're going to be talking about my DAK's performance, how they did at the last tournament I just went to, which was Operation Typhoon. It was a Maryland State Championship put on by Mike. Great guy. Really good event. It was held at Bazooka Games. I recommend checking them out. I'm going to have a link of their information in the description below if you're down near, I think it's Westminster, over that way in Maryland. Great store. Their model is they run a lot of tournaments and events. That's kind of their business model. Like they have something going on literally every week, they said, event-wise, which is really awesome. Going over my DAK, the tournament was 1,025. Really no dice limit, no limits. The TO did reserve the right to change, or not change, but ask you to maybe tone down your list if you thought it was like way over the top. And as far as I'm aware, no one really did that. And what that might mean is if you really tried at 1,025, you probably could fit, like, even with the nerf, 10 Reno FTs, you know what I mean? Something like that. It was 3 rounds. And each round was 2 hours. What they're going to do going forward, he had a kind of like a consensus vote. They're going to go to 2.5 hours. Kind of the problem with 2.5 hours for them, it's not really a problem. It's more or less the venue, because they are in a mall. So, like, it is, there's time restraint on them being open. It just is what it is. I don't know if there's a way around it other than start earlier. Now, granted, the mall opens like 9 or 8:30, I believe. And Bazooka Games, they made their space open really early for us to go up and show up and start getting ready. So, I'm going to put a link in their information in the description below. Oh, man. And check them out if you're down that way or heading through Maryland. They're south of Gettysburg. I definitely recommend it. What their business idea is, they do like a tournament or events every like week, which is kind of a cool concept actually. So it really engages the community. And the other thing with this video, I try doing on par. I'm not a rivet counter, you guys know this, but I like doing historical as much as I can. And there are some shortfalls with my army, not really anything else. But all 3 games, I'm gonna go over them. We all at least completed round 3. My last game, we got up to round 4 and completed. My first opponent was Chuck. Awesome dude. He was running Americans, and he had like an M10 veteran, which why wouldn't you? Or not an M10, a Sherman, and then he had an M10 tank destroyer. That was regular. He had 2 squads of Rangers, a couple other squads, regular dudes, some machine guns, sniper team, and that was kind of a little bit about it. And I was running my DAK, you guys know, and that one, I had lost by a couple points, only because medics don't count for scoring, and so his medic technically didn't count for the scoring of holding opponents' armies back in the mission. So the highlight of that game. My 5th column, my guys who were the Middle Eastern garb, actually assaulted and knocked out the M10. Seeing how it's open top, they didn't have to take the task. They assaulted it, barely hit it, just enough to glance. That's all you need, really, and roll damage. So they blew up the M10, which is surprising. The rest of my forces, I lost a couple guys, and so this is something I've noticed, and he played correctly. Chuck did. He saw that I only had a couple things that could deal with his armor. And my artillery observer, they called in a strike. I rolled 3s up for that whole game. And that might, again, fall into the category of, well, if we had a few more rounds, would it have come in? Would it have made a difference? I hesitate to say yes, but I'm gonna say maybe. Who knows? And would another half hour have changed that game? I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Chuck played it completely right. His Rangers ran up because the mission basically was objectives you score at the beginning of after the second turn or during the beginning of the second turn. You score objectives, and every objective is worth so many points. So you score every turn. So his Rangers ran up, grabbed 2 objectives. Now, my infiltrators couldn't because the mission rule stated that you couldn't put infiltrators on the objectives. So what my 5th column usually do is there's an objective out there somewhere. I'll boop, plop them down on it, and they'll just sit there. You know what I mean? Usually. They couldn't do it this time, so they had to start a little bit further back, almost in my backfield, kind of, and then move up forward. It was still a really good game. Probably my only. I tried playing a little more aggressive. Squads ran up and just murderized people. I put my 1 half-track and troops in reserve to outflank. Hindsight as it is, I probably had, because they were out of the game for 2 turns because of the outflank rule. I should have had them on the table, and I literally, it would have helped because then I would have a whole another threat running around. So when they did come on, they helped. They literally murderized one of his infantry squads, but it was a little too late. So that was on me. Takeaway, because of how aggressive he was with his tanks, if I was running Panzerfausts, I don't think that would happen. And this is going to be a theme through the whole video. I think because of the prevalence of armor now, even with the expense of a Panzerfaust, I'm really considering throwing like 2 in each squad, or put them in the squads that we'll be aggressive with, like my Panzer Grenadiers, who are going to be pushing forward. Because in 2nd edition, you always had like 2 or 3 Panzerfausts in any German squad that could take them. And you never got ran up on. And with that, or even tank assaulted, but without Panzerfausts, I had my infantry tank assaulted like twice at the tournament, and guys would just run up within 6 inches and just light you up with machine guns. I think obviously with Panzerfausts, that'll stop. Yes, they're 15 points apiece. In most instances, it's easier to hit with them. They're just expensive. The only benefit now in this edition, though, they can't be sniped out of until you start taking a lot of casualties. So you can throw them on a guy with an assault rifle or a regular rifleman and still not worry about they getting shot out from underneath you. Because that was another tactic with the sniper. You shoot them, get rid of the thing. So that game was down to 2 points. And if the medic would have counted scoring or being a scoreable unit, we would have drawed. So that's how close the game was. Really good game. Takeaway, I'm thinking Panzerfausts. Yes, it won't be on par, but I'm holding myself to having a mid-war list. Now, granted, yes, Panzerfausts start showing up later in mid-war, but not in Africa. Italy, they did, but they were the Panzerfaust 30, so it was a shorter range initial model. Going to tournaments, I'm probably gonna. I have enough guys. I'm probably gonna model a couple guys with Panzerfausts and just sprinkle them in the units, especially my assault units, because that's the theme. Everyone's running armor now, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? And the fact that there's no good way to deal with armor with infantry right now. Yeah, you have anti-tank grenades, but that's you solving the tank. It's a little bit risky proposition. Now, if it's open topped like the M10 in that ground, yeah. Also, with my 5th column, I was trying to give them a demo charge, And I could never get it to work. Never get it to work. And Ironfoot suggested, why not just give them anti-tank grenades? Because you can for 10 points, because it's 2 points per guy. And it's only a 5-man unit. So I'm like, you know what? That might be the ticket, because to me, they're expendable. They're a speed bump. People have to deal with them. You know what I mean? You really can't ignore them. And the reason I say that is they performed great this tournament. The first game, let's say, knocked down M10. A 35 inexperienced unit with pistols. Granted, I did surprise assault out of the trees and hit him in the side. They blew it up. They just had enough hits, because you need 3. Because I had 3 hits because he didn't move yet. And then I rolled a 5, so it turned into a strength 8 hit, which is glancing, boom, open top, knocked him out. Surprisingly. Like, we were both surprised. We both started laughing. I'm like, I didn't expect it to happen. I was just trying to maybe, because he was there shooting with pistols and put a pin on him. I was like, F it, let's just charge. You know what I mean? Because I was banking on him charging in, and then, I don't know, just charging. And it knocked it out. So we ended up losing that game. Next game, my opponent was Jimmy. Another awesome guy. I was playing a German player this time. He had 2 Panzer III. He had the DAK Panzers with the light anti-tank gun. He had 2 of them. 222. I think like 4 or 3 squads of 8-man infantry Germans. I think they just had rifles, honestly. An inexperienced mortar section, mediums with an officer. He had, I think, something else. 1 or 2 other things. Oh, a Panzer Shrek team. So we set up. I had my artillery observer. Remember, first round he didn't do nothing. Second round, I put him up in like a minaret tower. And he was there, you know, doing observer stuff. And as stuff's coming on the board, this case, you carry an objective with you, like a suitcase. And the further you get into your opponent's table side, the more points it was worth at the end. Another caveat, if say you wiped out an enemy infantry squad with the briefcase, you could capture it. So in theory, you could grab your opponent's suitcase on the way over to their side and carry it with you into their side. You see where I'm going with this? That one, it was a draw. The only reason I drawed, because I killed like 4 of his units, he only killed 2 of mine. And because how the point scoring worked, he had a lot more points than I for briefcases, because he pushed hard on one side. The reason he pushed hard on one side, he had a few units come on. I have my artillery observer in a tower just watching. I'm like, okay, whatever side he loads up on, I'm going to throw a strike on, hopefully slow him down. And then, like, probably his 3rd or 4th dice going in the game. Little Kugel wagon drives on, sees my guys in the tower. Okay, I'm regular, whatever. 4 up save, turns into a 3. Okay, he'll shoot at me, needing 5s. All right. Hits me 3 times. I'm like, okay, whatever. I should be okay, you know. What do I roll? 1 and a 2. killed my artillery observer before he could even call a strike. Oh crap. So he just loaded one side up and was just driving that side really hard. It was a bloodbath. I ended up neutralizing his mortars with my other hand of mag and infantry and my Stummel. The Stummel, I think I used it wrong at the event. The first turn I tried using it for indirect, so I used my artillery observer just to call it spot for it, basically. And I missed a couple times. I probably should use it directly as just a light support thing. Just have it basically babysit a squad of infantry and just lob shells into stuff. This is where I kind of wish we had smoke rounds for artillery and vehicles. I also wish we had shape charges for like those smaller light howitzers. It's me going down a rabbit hole. The Germans actually had a hollow charge for those, a shape round. It wasn't super effective, or it wasn't super efficient, but it still worked. It would knock stuff out. There's a whole science thing about when you fire a round like that with shape charge, the centrifugal force of it rotating through the air actually messes with it, forming a cone of molten plasma. So it'll still work, but it's not as efficient as it normally would be, where a lot of shape charges now don't rotate as fast on the axis, like bazookas and such. Their rotations are slow compared to an actual round coming out of an artillery barrel or a cannon barrel. That's your science fact for the day, guys. I just used it wrong. They kind of wish it had smoke rounds to be kind of nice, or like a shape charge. And I'm not saying like a 6 or something. Just maybe give it like a 4 shape charge. Be kind of nice. So again, there's another theme here. And he just started pushing with his vehicles on that side. And my infantry, I had my Panzer III over there, who did like disable one of his Panzer IIIs and kind of neutralized it. And my light mortars were hitting them, doing pins. But it slowed his advance down enough to where he couldn't get through. But he was pushing vehicles up on me, on my infantry. And some of them were open top, which is nice. But like, when a vehicle moves, it turns in, if it advances, you need 6s to hit it in hand to hand, which I get. I'm not complaining about that. It makes sense. If it does a run order, you just can't hit it. You know what I mean? It's impossible. And if it hasn't moved yet, if it has a down order or anything other than an advance or a run, you hit on 4s. But like, it means you have to be within 12 or 6. And I'm using cover to protect myself. And he's just driving around with a 222 around me, pushes up another tank. Had I had a couple Panzer Fausts in that squad, I don't think that would have happened at all. I think it would have maybe given a little bit of pause before him just to drive up and on me like that. So I'm really considering, unless the tournament, which we haven't seen yet happen, unless the tournament specifically says we're playing mid-war or early or late war, which I think will actually happen someday once all the books are out. Because as of right now, it's hard to be like, guess what, we're going to be playing early war tournament when not all the books are out that gives you all the options for early war. Unless you really dive in and start digging into it, which is nice with the books. It gives you the periods like early, mid, late. And with that being said, it gives you like a list of equipment and units that were available in that time frame, much like Battlefront does with their early, mid, late in Flames of War. So I like that concept. I'm actually kind of excited for that to see what happens, because it also adds a lot more building restrictions. You're not seeing Renault FTs running around with dudes with Panzer Fausts and Shreks, you know what I mean? Or you're not seeing like a Sherman Jumbo having to fight Renault FTs. So I'm kind of cool when that will happen someday. I think that's something that I'm going to try to do with events for heavy metal wargaming, but that's when all the books are out. And I'm even probably leaning towards the PDFs, honestly. Or not PDFs, but the PDF armies going into the books. I think I'm going to wait. Which, so far, they're crushing how fast these books are coming out. Russia just came out, which is wild, which is really good. I think the last one's Japanese. And then Italy, then France. So, like, we're on pace to have all the books out in the next, like, year, maybe 2. So that game there, I ended up killing like 4 units worth of his stuff, and then he killed 2 units of mine, but he mauled a lot of stuff and he neutralized a lot of my units, like pinning them down, stuff like that. And again, MVPs of that game, I hid the 5th column. We had a giant mosque in the middle. You've probably seen that in the previous video. I hid him in the middle. Whatever. And basically, I was just moving him through the building, which was just a huge building, which was slow. I was moving through the building to maybe cut off the escape of the mortar guys and just like harass them. Well, he's a Panzer Shrek team run up behind. I blew up Kugelwagen later. They ran up, put a shell into my 250, somehow just caught on fire. Didn't explode or exploder, luckily. and just caught it on fire. So that was kind of cool. And it survived, luckily, because Lieutenant was in it, or next to it. And then the fifth column guys come out the building, get within 6, open up with their pistols. They're point blank range, so they're hitting on 3s. And I actually killed a Panzer Shrek team, gunned them down. I was like, wow, okay, cool. Because it helped because it stopped him from pushing hard on the one side towards my Panzer III. I'm thinking for the event, I probably should have used the DAK Panzer III that I used at Historicon, but I wouldn't have that 9 armor. And plus, I had it painted. It's painted up like the Panzer H anyway. But so we ended up drawing that game, which was a good game. And my last game was with Steve. We played in the same table, just because that many people. We had 32 players, and it was hard. So I played on the other side. Good dude. He played a German list as well. He was using 2 Panzer III DAKas, but he had the long 50s. So he had I forget which variant. I don't know, guys, but it had the longer 50 mil, so it had like a medium anti-tank gun. He was running like 3 squads of like Waffen SS, 8-man, decked out with assault rifles. 2 groups of the infiltrator guys, the Spotzen, I believe. He had a Stummel, the 251 variant, the longer one with transport capacity. So he's using that to help haul around one of his squads of guys. 2 inexperienced mortars, I think 2 officers, and something else. I forget exactly. That game we fought to a draw. Artillery actually worked that game. It was a kill point mission. Artillery come in, it struck turn 2, and somehow the dice gods woke up, and I killed a light mortar, a lieutenant, and a Spotzen squad. Just artillery hit all 3, blew them up. And we were like, holy crap. We had a duel back and forth. And again, he was able to like Rhino rush with his Hanomag, his Stummel, and Panzer III. I had a squad run up, open fire, throwing pins on it. I don't know what I was thinking whenever I just ran up and just shot at it. It was still full of guys. They just jumped out, exchanged fire, like put a couple wounds on me. Then his light mortar hit, blew 3 guys up, just annihilated that squad. If I had Panzer Faust in that squad, I probably would have had a really good shot, because I was a point blank range. And I couldn't really assault because I was assaulting over rough terrain. So I couldn't like assault the thing. But his guys got to jump out and fight. You know what I mean? So I probably could put 2 Panzer Fausts into the side. But then once that squad gun got hurt real bad, he was able to push hard on that side with vehicles, and I had nothing else to really deal with him. Anti-tank rifle was putting pins on stuff, but couldn't like seal the deal. You know what I mean? Light mortar didn't really hit anything on that side. My Stummel, the only thing it could kind of hurt was his counterpart Stummel on the other side. And it just didn't have enough punch to mess with even the light Panzer III. It's an 8 armored vehicle. So I need a 6 to kind of glance you. On the other side, my squads, they're at a push-up advance and like knock out a Spotzen squad, kill another squad. And then I got lucky and immobilized his other Panzer III. And then my mortar man ranged in on it at the same time. So like, we were just putting pins like a son of a bitch on it. And it was just stuck in the middle of the road, couldn't do anything. Then what I was kind of winning at that point, but then bolt action happens. My 1222 or my 250 had pins on it, and it was just close enough to the board edge because I was trying to push up. Once I neutralized the Panzer III, what did he do? He drove off the board because he was just out of range by lieutenant. Cool. Then the Hanomag that the squad got killed on the other side. What happened to them was his infantry got closer than any of my infantry because they're all dead. So I had to roll a dice at the beginning of the turn, at the end of the turn to see if it stayed or it blew up or it buggered off. And I rolled a 3, so it buggered off. And that was 2 dice at the last round, basically. And then I pushed him to killing 5 and 5. I killed 5, he killed 5. So it turned it into a draw. Great game, though. I wasn't mad about that at all. It was just really good. All my opponents were really good. Had a great time. They all played it like really well. But again, at the end of the day, for my DAK, like I said, I'm considering keeping them the way they are, but then building here a few models and modeling them with Panzerfaust, not really assault rifles. If anything, maybe the command squad, I would give them assault rifles because they are a command squad. They would have more better kit. As far as assault rifles for the other squads, like my other Panzer Grenadiers, I'm probably more open to just give them another light MMG. So they have 2 MMGs, or 2 LMGs, and the 2 Panzerfausts. And leaving them with the subguns. It still gives them assault, 2 shots. And like those squads are meant to get close to guys. I use them as my Rhino rushers. If my LT's close enough, hey, boop, boop, activate both. Hand-mag flies up as close as it gets up, not close, opens up with its machine gun, maybe puts a pin, maybe puts a guy down. And then the squad itself advances out and just opens up on the squad in question. I don't feel confident enough to assault stuff with them unless they're like really small or if they're regular or inexperienced. If they are veteran, I try not to. I just shoot them. So it's kind of my hot take. So I might make like a handful of guys that are painted like DAK that have Panzerfaust on them, and make a command squad of guys with assault rifles painted as DAK. And then just kind of keep going from there. And then if I'm going to maybe a tournament or something, splash those guys in. I am going to give the 5th Golem guys anti-tank grenades. I'm going to try to use some spots in squads. Try them out a little bit. 5th Column's really fun, but like... Ooh, sorry. I'm going to have to edit that out. My spots in my 5th column I like a lot. I'm going to keep using them, I think. Yeah, tell me what you guys think, what I should do. Should I just go ahead and add the Panzerfaust, like 2, it's 30 points. Or should I just, or do I take 20 points for a 10-man squad, which I might drop down to 8, and just give me anti-tank grenades to deal with vehicles? What do you guys think? Am I overanalyzing it, or is there something there? Like, are we starting to see a trend now to where the Panzerfaust is back? Like, do we think it's back? Because I don't think anyone else was running them at the event that I'm aware of. So, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe if you like what we're doing. Till next time, this is the Guildmaster, Metal Wargaming. Always sees the objective.